by your house, dude, by the 7-Eleven over there.
Oh yeah,
there's a Filipino place next door.
Yeah,
over there by Pizza Hut and shit.
There's like a vet clinic, and then next door is a Filipino.
Yeah, dude. All right, everybody, welcome to Hot Couch Potato, the podcast where we talk about video games and predict the future. My name is Brent, aka Boo-Wop. I'm here with my man Rick, aka A New Perfect Day. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going? Today is a new perfect day. What can I say? But this week was pretty eventful for me. I was just going through a couple of interviews and starting up my new job and going through some online training that I have no idea what I'm going to be using this for. So I'm just getting the certificate and like safety. But it's just been relaxing for a little bit so far, and next week is gonna be when I actually start my job. So how's your week coming?
Good, man. Good. A little bit busy, you know. Everybody just wants to go on vacation at the same time, so I'm babysitting a bunch of animals, which is a little bit crazy. I'm babysitting my snake for my mom and my cousin's dog all at the same time. So I might as well start working.
Open up your own business of pet daycare.
Hell no, dude. Hell no.
Dude, you could I don't know, pretend like you're watching these pets but be playing video games, you know?
The one thing I can't stand is the smell of wet dogs. You know what I mean?
Oh, gotcha.
Those get to me, and you'll have to bathe the dogs every so often if you're a caretaker for them. So I can't stand, dude. So that'd probably flunk me out of that position really quick. But yeah, I mentioned that we can kind of tell the future here due to a couple things. First and foremost, a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how video games we wish came to the US that were only released in Asia. Funny story, while we were researching for it, we were looking through Play Asia because that's a website that can deliver these Japanese games over to the US. And there was one game, of course. Shows where my mind is at. There's one game, of course, that struck a chord with us and we thought would never come out here. It's called Schoolgirl/Zombie Hunter.
Ooh.
Perfect Japanese game. It has Japanese schoolgirls killing zombies with guns. Perfect Japanese game.
Clothes flying off. Who knows?
So this game came out in Japan January of this year. And it just got announced that it's getting an American release, dude.
Oh,
in November. I know. How crazy is that? It's like someone
this
heard.
November? This is coming?
Yeah, dude.
Shit.
In a couple next month. Holy shit. But yeah, it just came as a surprise. I was just thinking to myself, whoa, someone is listening to us, man. How did this happen?
Someone really wants this game so we can modify it really good.
For real. So, you know what? I don't know if it's coming out on PC. I know for sure it's coming out on PlayStation. Now, I mean, PlayStation 4 isn't region locked, so you could have ordered it, the Japanese version, and played it here in America, but you don't understand what they're saying unless you speak Japanese. I don't think there's English subtitles in it, so this one's going to be localized where it'll be English subtitles. I don't know if there's going to be English voice acting, but who knows, man. It's just crazy that we were just talking about it a couple weeks ago, and lo and behold, one of the games we saw on Play Asia is legit coming here.
Is it going to be in VR? That would be pretty cool. VR for schoolgirl zombies, I don't know. So we can look at the zombies and stuff like that.
That I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised though if they came out with a patch, just VR schoolgirl zombies. So you can look at every single detail of the zombies and like, oh, okay, this guy, maybe he died from a blow to the head. If you could see, he's rotting a little bit more.
Exactly.
That's what we'd really use the VR for, I think. Come on.
Exactly, my friend. You gotta be prepared with all of the stuff going on in the U.S. Yeah, we gotta prepare for an apocalypse soon.
So we gotta study our enemies as much as we can with the zombie VR sites, That's why we need it. Oh God, watch it happen, dude. We predict something else on this damn thing.
Oh no! I did not predict that, please.
Also, last week we were talking about microtransactions, trying to tackle the whole issue, which is way bigger than what we could have grasped. This week has been the week for loot box drama. As we talked about earlier, too, the releases this month have been crazy. Mordor Shadow of War and Forza 7 especially have come under the gun due to their loot box practices. Mordor Shadow of War is a single player game, but they have loot boxes in it with special orcs that you can have on your team, I think.
What?
And I think the whole contention with that is you can finish the game, but there's a true ending where you 100% the game, I guess, where you take over the whole map. And to do that is really tedious, and you need these stronger orcs to man your castles or what have you. Now, they're saying the main way to get these guys is through the loot boxes, and the loot boxes are all by
pay
chance.
To win kind of stuff.
Kind of. I mean, they can finesse it and say, well, you don't really need these. You know, this is just an optional true ending. You finish the game, you're fine. You don't need to buy this. Like, it's not necessary.
We have to buy the DLC in order to be able to finish that 100% true ending kind of thing?
No, you can grind out and level up your orcs, but of course, it's going to take longer than paying out $10 and getting a strong orc. A chance to get a strong orc from the loot box. So there's a contention with that. Forza 7, the racing game that just came out on Xbox, I think that has cars locked in loot boxes. So you need certain cars for certain races and certain license classes. You can't get those unless you can't get them effectively unless you buy the loot boxes. So they locked a bunch of the content in the game behind the loot boxes effectively. So that's the contention with that one.
Is it like, crazy. Does it do any performance? Like you get a good car and it has like almost the best specs and stuff like that? Or is it just like
it's more exterior? Like, have you ever raced in Grand Theft Auto 5?
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're setting up the race, you can set up what type of car you can have in that, whether it's a motorcycle race, sports car race, minivan race, or what have you, or plane race. So that's the same thing in Forza. You know, they have classes of cars that you can use in specific races. And to unlock these cars, you got to play the game. To save yourself some time, you could buy a loot box. And let's say you want to join a sports car race, but you don't have a sports car. There's a chance of getting that sports car in your loot box, so you can enter in that race and play. And that portion of the game does not unlock until you get that sports car, essentially, or that classic car. So legitimately, some of their game you can't play unless you take a chance and buy a loot box, essentially.
Yeah.
And then I think they have a similar thing to cards, like we talked about last week with EA games, where, you know, a mechanic card where you can fix your car after a race or something like that. And those you get through loot boxes, loot crates as well. So I know that's got a lot of people on the internet up in arms, and I've read maybe 10 or 20 articles this week alone just about loot boxes and analyzing it and why people do it, whether it's gambling or not. It's gone so far as where I think the ESRB, the guys that rate games, they're starting to look into it too, whether it counts as gambling. If that's the case, they got to change how they're rating all these loot box games. So it's getting kind of wild, man. This issue is gaining some traction for sure. Oh, and then lastly, the Battlefront 2 beta recently came and went. That's the Star Wars game. You know, they're coming out with 2 where there's going to be a story mode this time. I guess the loot boxes in that, from the experience from the people who played the beta, all the powerful guns are in the loot boxes. So that it's legitimately pay to win in that game.
No.
Now, that's what EA came out and said. Is like, it's okay. This is just a beta. This is not how the loot boxes are going to work when the game comes out. But who are we to know? You know, we can't tell the future like that, man.
They probably just wanted to test it in the public, see their reaction, and then be like, "Oh no, we're just kidding.
Yeah.
It's just beta."
Yeah, and I'm hoping in my heart of hearts that that's true. You know what I mean? They'll test the waters with these pay-to-win loot boxes. You know, see how people react, and since people are reacting so negatively, as far as I can tell, maybe I'm just reading all the negative articles is why. Maybe they'll change that practice, you know, to where it's something where it's maybe gun skins or character skins or something like that.
Yeah, I think who did it pretty good was Overwatch, even though it didn't affect the performance of like the guns or anything or shooting, but it was just skins and avatar and decals and stuff like that. And you know, people are willing to pay for that kind of stuff. Like even I was like, I don't know, I spent maybe $20 on trying to get loot boxes with all the skins that I wanted, and hopefully get the seasonal ones too. So they did it pretty good.
Yeah, especially now with the Halloween event. Oh man, I almost spent $40 to get those 50 boxes, man.
Which one are you trying to get? The John Marston one or the?
No, I'm trying to get. So I never got the Roadhog one. Roadhog's my boy.
Yeah.
And then there was another one. The Torbjorn one looks amazing. He's a Viking.
I haven't seen it. Oh, yeah. What?
Yeah, his hand, because you know he has a robotic hand. It's like a dragon from the boats, from Viking boats. Yeah, it looks sick. And then Symmetra has this crazy skin where she looks like a Diablo character. She's all scaled out. It doesn't even look like her. And then her gun has an eye on it that moves and looks around and shit. It's kind of crazy how much work they put into that one. Yeah. They gave Reaper another skin too, which is crazy because his Halloween skin's already tight. The one with the jack-o'-lantern head.
Yeah. Which
last year I got from the free loot box they gave you. So I was like right away, oh, I'm never changing this skin on him ever again. But yeah, I need to go around and play just so I can unlock some boxes and try my luck. And then maybe at the end of the month, maybe I'll drop some money to try and get that Roadhog one if I don't get it.
An extra $40.
Shit, I know, dude. But I did that for the Chinese New Year event. I think I just spent $20, right? Because I really, really, really wanted that Roadhog play of the game intro, where it's just him laying down on the ground with all this food around him and shit.
Oh.
And then he opens his hand and some fucking show pal falls out, or like meat buns and shit fall out of his hand. Fortunately, I got it within that $20, so I didn't have to fuck around. But
yeah,
it's all luck, dude.
Yeah, that was the same. I think I dropped like $10 trying to get the Genji skin and the McCree skin from the American one, and then you know, like a year later, they're like, "Oh yeah, you can buy it with your regular coins." I'm like, "Oh, dang it!"
Yeah, same. As soon as the summer games, you're right. As soon as the summer games came back out, I think they even decreased the prices, so it was easier to buy them. I bought that friggin' Genji skin so fast, even though I'm never gonna play him. I bought that white Genji skin so fast, dude. It was crazy. Yeah. But yeah, man. So speaking of games that we're gonna play with loot boxes like Overwatch, what have you been playing this week, man?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to play any of the games because of, you know, the interviews I was going through, stressing about what to say during all of them. But I was looking at some of the videos online about games, and there was one like on Witcher 3 and saying like how great of a game it was, and they're thinking about making Witcher 4.
What?
So yeah, I think the game was supposed to end with Witcher 3, as especially with the DLCs and stuff like that. But they're considering meeting the fans' expectation and to have a Witcher 4. So I don't know how far that will go, but I really got to finish playing Witcher 3 because...
Wait, are they still going to follow Geralt of Rivia, or are they going to have a new character?
Yeah, Geralt of Rivia. Yeah, yeah, because he's badass, man. Like, I was, like, watching the video, I was like, damn, this is why I love playing Witcher games. It's, like, fucking amazing. And then I think they said that their revenue was like 250 million alone from the Witcher 3 game.
Jesus, yeah.
And I was like, golly, I really got to start playing it. So maybe next week when I start getting settled in and with my jobs, it's just like, okay, now I can spend all of this time playing the games I need to play. Especially Red Dead. I'm going to be bringing the PS3 up. I want to replay that game again.
Yeah, yeah. So, spoiler alert, if anybody hasn't played Witcher 3, is Geralt, or Witcher at all, is Geralt a vampire?
No, he's
like half beast or something, right?
Yeah, he's like half magic. I don't remember. Half badass and half... I don't remember what he was, but he was like one of the unique people that... They have like a special eye and they use Witcher senses.
Exactly.
I guess you can say he's just a Witcher.
Yeah, whatever that entails.
Yeah, and there was only like a few of them existing currently because I think like a lot of them died off or became their own thing, and they're trying to like avoid interacting and getting involved with wars. But you know, turns out like the objectives had a line to like retrieving your main objective. Which is finding the girl. I forgot the girl's name already. But yep. Yeah, so
that's interesting.
And then plus people like are revered for Witchers, so I don't know. The game is good. I need to finish that game.
Yeah. No, that's interesting that you say that, because in the Witchers aren't really trying to intervene in war.
Yep.
Because in the second one, I think the opening scene is you're leading a battle.
Yeah, and then, so like after that, you're supposed to. They're just like, okay, we're gonna separate ourselves. We're not gonna get involved. With
Okay.
All that shit.
Hold on, we're gonna do a quick Google search because I think Witcher 2 is even called Assassin. It is. Witcher 2 is called Assassin of Kings. So in that game, you're chasing around this other Witcher who's assassinating like royalty and other monarchs and shit like that. So maybe that's why they changed their ways in Witcher 2. Huh. Interesting. The more you know, dude.
I didn't finish this game so bad.
They're all books, aren't they? Isn't The Witcher a book series first, or is it?
Don't remember, but I know there's like 3 different books, and it's kind of explaining the journey leading up to Witcher 3, I think.
Okay. Interesting, man. I've been the same as you. I really haven't been playing video games too much. I've just been busy with all kinds of stuff. In Destiny 2, the Iron Banner is out, where you can get sweet-looking samurai / Chinese-looking armor and stuff.
Yeah, I was like, the Warlock looks good.
Yeah, like, what? I just haven't had a chance to play, dude. I just need that Hunter helmet and the Titan arms. Those look the best out of all the gear, I think.
I gotta check that out.
But I really haven't had a chance to play it at all, man.
Yeah, same here. I was like, oh shit, Iron Banner's out, and then I looked and I was like, oh shit, it's Saturday.
Yeah, that shit ends tomorrow, dude. Or tomorrow's the last day.
Oh no, fuck! So, I'm gonna be busy tomorrow.
Yeah, after this, I'm just gonna probably watch some football and play some PvP in Destiny, which I heard is trash right now. I watched this video recently. This 1 minute long video of this guy just getting spawn killed over and over.
Oh, what?
So it's funny. He spawns in, he gets killed. He spawns in again, he gets killed by like a shotgun or something. He spawns in again, he gets Nova bombed. He spawns in again, he gets Nova bombed again, dude.
Damn.
The first time was a little bit horrible because the guy only used the Nova bomb on just the one dude that respawned. The second time, the guy respawned and there was someone next to him, so that guy got a 2-for-1 on his Nova. But fucking A, man. If I experienced that even once, I might tear another shirt.
I'm like, oh, what'd you have for breakfast? Oh, I just had a t-shirt.
Yes, the collar of my t-shirt, man. Fuck. But yeah, I need to jump on that soon. The little time I did have to game this week, I was actually playing Red Dead Redemption, man. I started the story over, and dude, it's great, man. Because I think last time we talked, I just said I was running around in the end game ish, and I filled 2 hours of my time just doing random tasks that showed up in the world. You know what I mean? There's this guy getting chased by wolves. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta save him. And then there's this guy that runs up to me. It's like, hey, they're hanging my wife. So I gotta help him out. End up killing his wife on accident. So there's just so much to do in that game. But now, like, with the story, it's even better, man. And getting all these references and remembering all the relationships that John Marston has with all these characters and figuring how it's gonna make its way into Red Dead Redemption 2, since it is a prequel. I think it's gonna be great, man, because Bill Williamson and John always have these exchanges, and John always describes him as his brother, or he was someone that was really close to him before, but in this new life it's not the same. In fact, the beginning of the game, when, spoiler alert, John Marston gets shot by one of Bill's crew, John goes there to try and talk some sense into him. He goes, hey man, I'm doing this because we used to be great friends. Like, come down here and just give yourself up. At least we can still come out of this alive. You know what I mean? But of course, Bill Williamson, being the bandit that he is, doesn't trust John for it, since he's working for the government, end up just shooting him. But it's gonna be cool, and I think having all this fresh in my mind by the time Red Dead 2 comes out is gonna be even better. I'm really taking my time with it, because you run into the strangers in the world.
Yep.
And there's this guy where you have to pick flowers for a bouquet for his wife, and some of the flowers are in areas you're not supposed to be in yet. So I'm trying to find my way into Mexico right now without unlocking that part of the map. I don't think there's no boats or anything. The bridge to the railroad, I don't think, is working or is broken in the part of the game I'm at. Either that or as soon as you cross over, the army chases you. I forget. But yeah, man, I'm really taking my time with the game, and it's making me enjoy it a lot more, man.
Yeah,
can't wait for 2, bro.
I ended up spending an hour just watching all of the trailers of the game. I was like, man, this is so badass. I want to experience it again and everything. But it kind of, like, I was noticing that some of the trailers was like revealing like what kind of had happened. For example, they're like saying, or John Marston was saying, is like, yeah, I was in a gang, but they all left me for dead, and now I'm like hunting them back or something like that. And I was like, dang, maybe did I miss that part? Because I don't remember him saying that in the game. So hopefully, replaying the game right before, especially when it comes out, it's gonna be so great. Like playing that.
Yeah, one thing I haven't heard that part yet. Then again, I'm not even halfway through the story. I
can show you the link. You can watch the hour video.
It's an hour-long video, dude? Is it just
it's
all the trailers put together?
Every trailer that released, and it's just put together. And I just had it in the background running, and like some of the quotes he was saying, I was like, damn, I didn't realize, like, it was kind of giving a little bit of his backstory of before. So
yeah, I think the part I'm at, I think the next mission I have is to go into that fort and take down Bill. Yeah, one thing I just remembered, or it refreshed my memory playing this game, is John was with the gang since he was a kid. He was orphaned. I guess his mom, well, I don't want to spoil it. Never mind, dude. You're about to play it again. But he grew up with the gang, and then, John has those scars on his face, like those scratches on his face. So maybe we'll see where all that originates from in Red Dead 2.
Damn.
It's just
I hope
hyping
that's
me
not
up.
going to, end it, because then I'm going to have to replay Red Dead 1 all over again.
So you're going to play Red Dead 1, and you're going to play Red Dead 2, Red Dead 1 again.
And then play Red Dead 1 again.
But yeah, see, that game is just that great, dude. The game is just that great,
dude.
I cannot wait.
Yeah,
I cannot wait. So this week we'll be talking about console games getting ported over to the PC, and why it really isn't as easy as people would think it is. You think you just get I mean, games are programmed on PCs anyways, right? Or developed on PCs. Why can't you just drag that exe file and play it on your PC? Turns out it doesn't really work like that. So we'll start with the good news, man. What are some good PC ports that you've played?
I would like to say some of them was, I don't know if it's considered a port, but it was like Final Fantasy 14. And I think the PS4 version was released earlier before the PC one came out. And once the PC version came out, dude, it was amazing. It was like you can see everything. Because I remember I got it for PS3. And I thought the game was like looking really great in itself. I was like, oh man, like all of the graphics are amazing and all stuff. And then they had to come out for PS4. And I was like, oh wow, I haven't noticed this, but this is even more amazing. You know, you have all these different things going on. But what I've noticed, the difference between like the PS4, the console version, and the PC version is that it was like the amount of players that were loaded in. Because on PS4 and PS3, like there was players, but it felt kind of like there's only like you can see 10 players running around on the map. But immediately when I jumped on the PC version, dude, there was like, oh, I don't know, like 50 people, 50 players like running around. And then they had like ambiances. So PS4, I don't know if they have it, but there's an ambiance where you have like chatter of a crowd.
Oh, so, yeah.
Yeah. You don't have that on PS3. I'm not sure if you have it on PS4, but on PC, it is amazing.
Noticeable.
Yeah. So it makes it feel like there's a lot of people around you. So I don't know. Like that experience alone was like, it blew me out of the water. It's like I could see everything. There's no lag. You can turn up the graphics all the way and, you know, have the great 60 frames a second kind of stuff. And you notice like the way the people move, the characters move, it's completely different. So I'm glad like I had the port because like you can either play on PS4 or you can play on the PC, and you can play with each other.
Exactly. Yeah, there's cross-platform play in Final Fantasy 14. Yeah.
Yeah, and then some of the other games, I don't know if there was this another port too, but it was like Overwatch. And
see, that one's tricky though because
Blizzard
mainly makes games for PC, right? Did that?
Yeah,
and I think that came out on. Oh wait, it might have been released all at the same time. But yeah, that one's cool.
Yeah. Like I would say, like the experience was pretty good on the PC, and I kind of listed it in a bad experience too. But we'll talk about that later. Another one was DCU Online. I know that one definitely came out on the console, and we were all playing that one on the console. And then
wait, you played that on PC?
Just a little bit.
Holy
a little
shit.
bit.
Is it good?
Yeah. Dude, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Like everything was pretty detailed. You can actually see a lot of things happening. They improved a lot. And you know, even though I don't play that game, but it was just a good experience coming back and like, oh, your character's here and it's in super great detail on the PC. So we used to play that, I think, on the PS3.
Yeah, man.
So so that was that one. And then the other one was, or the last one I would like to say is Grand Theft Auto 5. I remember playing that on the PS4 for a little bit. And then that was when, like, I think a month later, the PC version came out. And I was like, I don't want to get that. But they mentioned that if you pre-order it, you'll get like $1 million. And you can have your character transfer over to the PC version. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll do it. So I ended up doing that. And it was a great choice. You know, it's like a lot of people modding Grand Theft Auto. And it was a lot of details that you can see that the console version was, you know, kind of lacking. But yeah, unfortunately, I guess it also depends on who else is playing with you. So you were the only one that had it on PC, and everybody else was playing it on PS4. And I was like, damn it, it's a little tricky. So my experience is a little bit mixed when it came to that. You know, it's like who do you play with, and does it matter if the graphics look great or if you're playing it with a lot of people?
Yeah, I'm the same way because we all played Grand Theft Auto 5 on, dude, I think I bought that game 3 times, legitimately. I bought it on PS3, and then I bought it on PS4, and then I bought it on PC. And yeah, the PC version was supposed to come out at the same time, I think, as the PS4, but it got delayed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
By, I don't know if it was a month. I think it was longer than that. It might have been like 5 or 6 months.
Oh yeah, I was getting delayed late into the game. That's why mine was like in a month.
Oh, from when you bought it from, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the most memorable times I've had in Grand Theft Auto were online and when we were doing the heists. Man, remember when heists were a huge thing? When they said in those little trailer videos, oh, Grand Theft Auto Online, you could do heists with your friends. And that shit didn't come out until maybe the PC version came out. I remember heists came in the game super late. But those were the highlights of the game for me. We're playing those heists, and I only ever did that on PS4 because nobody else, like you said, really had Grand Theft Auto 5 on
PC.
On PC like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that you bring that up as well. I agree with you too on the Final Fantasy 14, especially since we started playing that shit on PS3. Oh my god, dude. Imagine going from PS3 graphics all the way to PC graphics. It is that much better. One that I'll mention, even though it was just the beta, it was already great. Destiny 2 on PC was amazing, dude.
Yep.
I just can't explain it, man. It was just so smooth. The gunplay was still there. It was super fun to play. It's just made something that I already love that much better.
Amplify that shit.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think it's smart that, you know, they're delaying it, right? They want to get all the kinks out and make sure that it doesn't have a horrible release like some of the games we'll mention here in a second. But it's actually being developed with the help of another studio called Vicarious Visions. Recently they did the Crash Bandicoot remake. But before that, they mainly made Wii and Nintendo DS games. But I think that says a lot for Bungie to partner with this other developer and try to make the most of what they can, you know, out of Destiny 2. So I think that's great. They're the real heroes, I think, when it comes to Destiny 2 on PC. And this is another reason why I'm not really mad at Red Dead Redemption 2 getting delayed like it did. Because we saw what happened when Grand Theft Auto 5 did finally come out for PC. It was an amazing experience. You know, I couldn't ask for anything more. There was nothing really wrong with it, you know?
Yeah.
Other than the fact that nobody else really played on it and maybe High Storing out. I mean, that game was great. So, and the fact that they're delaying Destiny 2 as well to get those kinks out, to make sure everything, their P's and Q's are all checked out, I'm not mad at either. So, Red Dead Redemption 2, take as long as you want. Just don't come out in 2020, please.
50 years from now, man.
It's 2020 and I'm not playing Red Dead Redemption 2. My attitude might change, actually.
What if they made it for like VR though? You know, you can be whoever character. You could be John Marston, Landon Ricketts, and I don't know.
No, that wouldn't be worth it. That wouldn't be worth it. Come out now without the VR. Add the VR later. We'll be good. So those were our good experiences. What are some of your bad experiences with games that came from consoles coming over to PC?
Well, I don't know if this was, like I said, I don't know if this one really considered a bad one. It was like Overwatch.
Wait, how?
So basically, it was not the game that was the bad experience. It was actually just my gameplay. You know, adjusting from a controller over to a mouse and going into a world of ass kicking. So that was a pretty rough experience, you know. Like I was thinking, yeah, I'm the shit, you know. Like I used to get a first place in Iron Banner, and I used to dominate in Call of Duty and all these games. But when I first came over with the first person shooter on the using a mouse, man, oh, I got my ass wrecked, dude. People do like 360s and then no scope and then do another 360 teabag. It's just like, man, what the fuck? I still gotta turn slow because I can't aim this as fast as these guys, you know? It's just like controller, I don't know. I would say that controllers for first person, you know, are always at a disadvantage for people with the mouse. But you know, maybe there's experts with that can compete on that level. But when games come over to the PC or ported over to PC, I always use a controller for mostly third-person games. So like Batman and stuff like that, because my bad experience is when I use a mouse and keyboard for these third-person games like Final Fantasy and stuff like that, like it just takes a lot of time for me to adjust. And you know, from the console where it's you just use your thumbs, and now you have to use all 10 fingers and stuff like that. So yeah, my sense of bad experience is kind of general in a sense when it comes to the gameplay, or not the gameplay, but the controlling of the character and stuff.
Okay, so it's more of, like you said, a controller issue there, which I mean is part of the reason why it's so hard to make a PC port of a console game. I mean, in consoles, you know what controller you're dealing with, right? You know how to map that out to be comfortable for everybody. In PCs, I think there's no limit of what kind of gamepad you can use on your PC. And for a developer to have to take into account, this Mad Catz 2003 controller that has a USB plug that still works,
that goes into your bed. Yeah, exactly.
To try and work out the drivers for that, make sure the software is compatible and everything like that is wild. And that's part of the reason, which we'll get into more later. Personal bad experience for me is Beyond Good and Evil. When I played that on PC, I don't think I got past the first cutscene, man. It was so bad. So bad. And you know what, too? It was free. If you had a Ubisoft account or something like that, I think last year they were giving out games for free. So it was Assassin's Creed 3 or something like that. Beyond Good and Evil. I think they gave out Watch Dogs 2. It was like a different game every month that they gave out for free. And Beyond Good and Evil, this game is super hyped up. It's nostalgia for a lot of people. And I never played it. So I thought to myself, yeah, you know what? It's going to be on PC. It's going to be even better. I'll have the 60 frames per second, even more. I'll get to use my controller. It has controller support. Awesome. Boot it up. The cutscenes are so choppy. I mean, I turned the graphics all the way down as well. I was like, all right, maybe my computer isn't as badass as I think it is. Turn down all the graphics, turn off all the shadows and shit, so it looks like a PS2 game. And nah, man, it's still running like shit. And after a quick Google search, everybody has that same sentiment: is it wasn't ported well over to PC. It's literally unplayable at certain points just because of, you know, different cutscenes not loading properly and playing properly.
I see.
So that was a horrible experience. Now, you just got done playing Arkham Knight. Did you buy that when it was released, or did you buy it later along down the road?
Later down the line the road, because I noticed that when they released it, they mentioned there was so many bad glitches going on with the game for the PC port that they had to like take it off Steam and take it off sales, and it was like pretty rough for the PC users. You know, it's like they expected everyone to be playing at the same time, but PC users had to wait, I think, almost a month before all of the fixes, before it even became playable. But you know, they ended up getting rewarded for like DLC for being
free
able
DLC.
To wait. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 'cause that's one of the ones I have down here where it got released and they literally took it off of the market because of how bad it was, so they can go ahead and you know, further work on the game to make it run smoothly on PCs out there. Watch Dogs is another one. Like I said, I think I got that free from that Ubisoft free game of the month, and it looks exactly like the PS3 version of that game. That game came out on PS3, right?
I don't remember. I'm trying to block it out of my memory right now.
But yeah, it looked like the PS3 version. It controlled like crap. Whenever you drove, the camera was locked. So you know how in Grand Theft Auto on PC you can move the mouse and kind of look around even though you're driving straight still. You can't really do that in Watch Dogs. The frame rate was horrible. I think it was still set at 30 FPS.
Oh no.
It was just a bad time overall. So bad I didn't get past 2 hours playing that game, man. It was fucking horrible. And then another game that I was potentially going to buy until I did some research is Dark Souls on PC. Because I've played Dark Souls 3 on PC. That game is crazy at 60 frames per second, man. I almost cried when I played. I was like, this game is so amazing. And the controller support for that is cool too, you know? So shout outs to From Software. I don't know if anybody else helped them develop the PC version, but that game is great too. But I've just been reading on a bunch of, you know, instability and graphical like indiscrepancies in the game that make it unplayable as well. And the frame rate, I guess, was locked at 30 frames per second. So they literally took that PS3 game and just threw it on a PC, which didn't end up working out for a number of reasons.
I would be fine if they did that with Red Dead Redemption.
So you didn't hear this from me, but there is a PlayStation 3 emulator thing out there. And I think they're close, man. I think they're close on getting Red Dead Redemption on there, dude. Because I've been seeing some videos here and there of this guy testing it out, and it does look amazing, dude. I may or may not be playing that in the future. Speaking of, there's other developers here cashing in on the Cowboys and Wild West. This one developer who's infamous for making early access games and never completing them is making a Wild West game where it's first person, kind of an RPG where you can level up your guns, buy different guns from the town and stuff like that, then just go out, explore, and kill people. But since he has such a bad reputation of not finishing games and just making money off of early pre-orders. Access users, pre-orders essentially, then people are just not hyped about it. It looks cool, but due to the fact that he's kind of a scumbag, nobody's really messing with it, which is fair, which is totally fair. What's his name? It's Tarkov or something. It's some Russian dude that's doing this, and nobody trusts him anymore to make these games, because I think he did make a couple battle royale type games and they just never fell through. He never developed it anymore after making his money off of early access stuff. So that's crazy, man. Or we might see 2 or 3 more Wild West games come out after Red Dead. It's like
nothing can compare.
It's like that meme when your mom buys you a video game that you really want. You've been asking for Call of Duty, but she buys you Battlefield. I don't know if you've seen that meme anywhere. Or if you're asking for NBA 2K and she comes back with NBA Live, you're just like, fuck. But yeah, the reason it's not so easy is similar to the controller problem, right? There's all kinds of software, all kinds of hardware that goes on PCs. It's not all uniform, you know, on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PlayStation 3, Wii, Switch, whatever. It's more predictable on what hardware and software is in there, right? The companies get to mandate that. I have Windows 10. I haven't updated Windows 10 ever since I initially installed it. So all these drivers in here are all kind of crazy fucked up. I have the GeForce Experience for my graphics card. I have Logitech installed in here somewhere. I have a bootleg Chinese Xbox controller and wireless adapter plugged in. My computer is just a mishmash of a bunch of shit put together. And I'm probably the only person that has this setup. You know, Rick, you're probably the only person that has your setup as well, right? With the different drivers that you install into your computer. No developer can account for any type of combination there is out there of what computers can be made out of. So I think that's part of the problem and why console ports moving over to PC aren't as great as they are. I mean, they can't account for, if I change this one thing, it'll cause a bug in something else, because the GeForce Experience from whatever graphics card I have doesn't agree with this change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost impossible, right, to test for that stuff.
Yep.
So I think that's part of it for sure. Other than that, you got to completely recode the game too. I think I was reading that PS4 games are on C# coding, where PC games or games on Windows run at something else. I think it's just C+. Don't quote me on that. But the language is completely different on how you code these games. And I was reading that the more successful people that do the ports, you know, what they'll do is they'll just completely break down the code and almost rewrite it. You know, I don't know if there's a coding translator that can transfer it to one type of code to another, but they'll almost rewrite it to where it can fit onto a PC. Although it is harder transferring a PC game to a console because the hardware is a lot more limited than PCs out there. Now, the true unsung heroes of these bad experiences to PC ports is the modding community, right? Do you have any experience downloading mods or installing mods for your different games, man?
No, I didn't download any mods for like Dead or Alive or anything like that because I have no idea.
Time out. You have Dead or Alive on PC, dude? Dead or Alive is on Steam?
Yeah, it's on Steam. It was on sale for $5. So I have no idea. I've never modded Dead or Alive or anything like that, but I did play with the mods on Left 4 Dead. Mm-hmm. And I remember the times when we would just download a bunch of maps and different areas. And my favorite one was playing at McDonald's. And
yeah.
We would have to play. It was like the survival, us four survival. See how long we can survive in order to get different. I don't remember, like gold, silver rankings and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I that was my experience playing that. It was pretty good because it like enhanced the game, you know, and stuff like that. But other than that, I think that was the only two I really one I really modded. So I haven't really modded much. I need to get more into that. Like maybe do some modding on Witcher. I don't know. Give Batman a Iron Man suit or stuff like that.
You never played Skyrim? You never modded Skyrim?
No, I never played Skyrim, and I never modded it Skyrim. But I know there's a crazy shit ton of different mods for that. Especially Grand Theft Auto. I think didn't they like release some sort of patch to stop modding Grand Theft Auto?
I think so, where you can't play it online with the mods anymore. Because I think people were getting online and playing with the mods on, with like a Gatling gun that shoots cars at people and shit like that.
Yeah.
So some of the mods that I know I've messed with and I know that are out there. Earlier I mentioned Watch Dogs. And do you remember the first trailer that ever came out for Watch Dogs? It made that game look amazing.
Like really cool.
Yeah. And then when it actually came out, it looked like crap. Like a super watered down. Not even like they poured gasoline and burnt it. And then that's what we got. You know what I mean? Someone actually went out there and modded Watch Dogs to make the graphics look like the trailer that originally came out. So, and come to find out, it's in the source file for the game. So all they had to do was unlock it from the actual coding of the game, and they could run the game as it did in the trailer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I know people did as well. They unlocked the car view where you can move your mouse while you're driving straight, and you can look around the car. Sometimes these mods are simple, right, where you can just copy and paste a line into a text file. Sometimes you have to download a whole program to install all these mods onto and then incorporate it into your game. I know that's how it works with Skyrim or most Bethesda games. I know Fallout 3 and New Vegas, you have to download similar to a torrent program. I'm not saying it's a torrent program, but something similar to that. And then get all these zip files, put them all into one spot, and then connect it to your game where everything unlocks. I know in Dark Souls, that game is only playable if you mod the shit out of it. I mean, Dark Souls is how old, man? You tell me. 7 years old?
Oh shoot, I don't know.
That
Yeah,
game is
maybe.
super old. And From Software has not patched it to fix the PC version at all. It's been solely the modding community that went out, made all the mods to unlock the frame rate and create the graphic stability that make it playable on PC. So shout outs to all those guys, man, that know how to code and do all this stuff essentially for free. I mean, I
Yeah.
know eventually from the Skyrim mods, Steam made a mod marketplace where you could pay for different mods that you could get for free. We all know what happened with that. It just fucking crashed and burned. I think the one thing that spawned from that was a positive is that mods came to Xbox or started coming to consoles. You could start downloading mods onto there. So that's one positive that came from that marketplace. I know the big one was there was a mod for fishing in Skyrim, and they were charging $5 or $10 for it when you could just go on a website and download that mod for free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, holy crap.
So for real, shout out to the modding community, the real heroes. I know I've messed with Iron Man in Grand Theft Auto 4, which was another game that ran like crap on the PC. But thanks to all sorts of mods, it made it great. It's like free DLC, man, being Iron Man in Liberty City, dude. I think doing that too made me realize how small the map was. Because, you can fly and just boost your way all across the city. You don't have to turn between the buildings and stuff. And you're just boosted out there, man.
Yeah.
So, shout out to the modding community and to the guys that make like that fake Pokemon game, Pokemon Uranium, and the Metroid 2 remake that got cease and desist letters sent up the ass to them. Shout out to those guys, man. You're the real heroes in the PC gaming community, for real. But yeah, man, now's the time where we recommend games for you guys to play. What recommendations you got for us this week, man?
One game, I think it's on PS3, PS4, and I think it's on PC now. But it's called Valkyrie Chronicles. Valkyrie Chronicles, I think. And what it was like a tactical role-playing game, and and their battle system is like, I forgot what they call it. It's like Blitz, which was like Battle of Live Tactical Zones. And so basically, you control all of the players on the map. Oh, let me give you the backstory. You're basically drafted off to war. And you go through the story, having other people join your team of soldiers and stuff like that. So each character has different quirks, different characters, and all that. And you control these soldiers using an overhead map. And once you select one of the soldiers, it goes to like a third-person view, and you can like strategically place them like behind a building in the bushes to ambush the enemy or to get behind them and, I don't know, snipe them or something like that. But the game is really good. It has a really good story, a really solid story. And as for the protagonist, there's a bit of romance in there. You end up with a good ending, so you don't have to worry about, I don't know, bad endings or endings that says, oh, we're gonna be continued on to number 2. But I would recommend playing the first Valkyria Chronicles. I haven't played the other 2, but definitely the first one. It's a full story, and yeah, it's pretty good. Just the way they approached a tactical game, like tactics, where you're essentially, you always just move them to one spot of the map and attack. But here you can control how far they run, what kind of specialties they have. So if you're a sniper, you can only run like a couple of feet, but you can snipe anything almost across the map. But if you have regular foot soldiers, they can like literally run halfway into the map, hide and ambush people, flank them, and then run away. So Valkyrie Chronicles got definitely a great reviews across the board, and it's definitely one of my recommended choices.
Are there advantages? For example, if you're a sniper, if you're on the high ground, are there advantages? You get a damage bonus or anything like that?
You do. You start getting like critical stuff. If you
Mm-hmm.
snipe them in the
Mm-hmm.
head, it's definitely almost a one-hit kill.
Mm-hmm.
But with their lives, they usually have like low health and they can only run so far.
Mm-hmm.
Soldiers generally they have like high health and but their spray of gun is like it depends on how far are you from the enemy, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's just so many different factors of what type of specialties these people play. Medics can run almost across the map, but you know they're like one hit kills, but they
Mm-hmm.
can like revive the players.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, each specialty is very unique, and it I don't know. It's like a journey. It's really good. You know, the story is really good.
Damn, dude, I might have to check that out. I'm I'm like looking at your games and I see it here, and I'm like, shit, maybe I should just put this one aside and play it. Although I'll never play it because my backlog is horrible. So the game I'll recommend this week is actually a mobile game. It's
Oh,
called
nice.
Two Dots, and it's amazing. It's so simple. You just
Two dots.
you just connect dots together, but it's a great time killer. I've spent the past week or two in a number of waiting rooms for multiple reasons, and this game made what was essentially an hour and a half wait seem like minutes.
Damn.
That's all you do. There's different goals that you need to meet to pass each level in the game. I think there's something like 1,000 something levels now. When this game, I played this game since it first came out, and I would beat all the levels before the next expansion came out. So I'd sit there and have nothing to do for a while in this game, but I would still play it. That's all you do. For example, they'll give you the goal of connecting, I don't know, 25 blue dots together throughout your game, and you'll do that. There's different power-ups that come through. There are different game changers, like little bugs that move around the dots so they're not connected the same every turn. The levels start changing the way they're formatted, and it stays fresh. I think I've been playing this game ever since I've had an iPhone. It has been years.
Wow.
I mean, in this amount of time, I've had all kinds of games on my phone. You know, Pokemon Go. What was that one with the sword slashing?
Infinity Blade?
Infinity Blade. Yeah, Infinity Blade. Deleted that. Phoenix Wright deleted that.
Oh no.
All kinds of games, dude. There's this zombie hunter game I had on my phone. Deleted that. One game that stood through the test of time was Two Dots. And now they do have these loot boxes where you could buy power-ups and stuff in the game, but you don't really need them. You know, they'll give you free power-ups every day you play. And there's weekend challenges on there so you can unlock cool looking coins. You get one life every 20 minutes, but if you watch a 30-second video, you get a free life. And if you have 0 lives, they'd let you continuously watch videos over and over so you can play over and over again. I am not mad at the way they're making money off this game because I have not put a dime into it, yet it doesn't feel like I ever put the game down because I'm out of lives. You know, if I ever have 0 lives, they give you the option of watching a video and boom, another round for you to go. So it's a great game. I'm not sure if it's on the Android. It is on the iPhone for sure. Again,
Yeah, I see Two Dots on the Android right now, and
Okay.
555,000 people rate it 4.4 stars.
great game.
Golly.
If you don't believe me, believe the 505,000 people, whatever Rick mentioned. And like I said, great time killer. Stood the test of time. It's still fun to this day. They add the little quirks here and there that still make the gameplay interesting. Download it today. It's free. Don't put any money into it though. But yeah, that is it for us this week. Next week, we'll talk about something. I hope it becomes a bigger conversation. When is a good time to end a series? When do you finish a game and you're satisfied? You know, when do you not need part 2 to come out because part 1 was so great? We could have said, oh yeah, Red Dead Redemption, no need to make another one. But now that 2's coming out, oh, amazing. For other games, though, now that Call of Duty World War II is out, Call of Duty World War II with a twist, don't really need that to come out, man. That can stay how it is. So we'll discuss that. When it's a good time, when it's not a good time, when you need to make as much money as you can, when you need to realize, oh, hey, what we're doing is not too cool anymore. So, yeah. But until then, Rick, some words of wisdom?
Never have a backlog of games. Otherwise, you will never play them ever again.
All right, guys. See you next week.